Hello and welcome to Budapest in Hungary. It's a beautiful sunny morning, but sadly today is the last day of the road trip and we have done some amazing things along the way. But today has to be a very, very big challenge for both us and the car. Whilst we've done the likes of the Nurburgring and the Hungaroring and the cars have been very, very thoroughly tested, let's say, today we have to cover over 950 kilometres to get to the airport. Now we've set aside about 10 hours or so to do that, but that only leaves us about an hour spare once we get to the airport. So if there was traffic, if there was excessive border checks, it's going to mean that catching our flight is going to be tight. It's tight anyway, but yeah, the race against time begins now and we're in traffic. So good start. As Bruce Almighty would say, all of this horsepower, but nowhere to gallop.
The congestion in Budapest cost us precious time. Google Maps reckoned that all things considered that this journey would take about 9.5 hours. Whilst we aim to shorten this time as much as possible, that is a long time to spend on a vast, featureless expanse of motorway.
Okay, so a couple of hours have gone by and the slight boredom of continuous motorway cruising has led to the most environmental form of motorsport ever. We're having an MPG off, like an economy run, except it's not quite MPG because we're in litres per 100 kilometres at the moment. So at the moment I'm doing quite a steady 8.6. Oh yeah. Okay, right, this is on. They've just come in at 7.6 litres per 100 kilometres. How are they even doing this? Oh my God. Right, okay. I'm gonna win this. This is probably not very entertaining for you to watch, but this is now the sole focus of my life, to beat these other two cars. I'm growing increasingly impatient of this man. Yes! Take that, Hungarian motorcyclist. Oh shit, the economy. No. Slow down. Sip, Type R, sip, don't gulp. Shit. So clearly getting impatient with the locals hasn't helped me there, but I've worked out if I reset the trip computer and drive really gently, I might be able to cheat this a little bit and potentially win. I mean, yes, the moral victory is theirs, but all that really matters is the actual victory, of which is mine.
As we ploughed on through Austria, sadly not via the wildly entertaining roads we found when heading in the opposite direction, it gave us some time to reflect upon just what we had put these Type Rs through.
We've gone to 4 different countries, 2 different racetracks, visited really beautiful locations. It's been funny, it's been exciting, it's been scary going through some of the borders, but what an adventure. Highlights for me? Well, I think going out to the Hungaroring was quite important. There's definitely something to be said for some of the lap times that have been set by this car recently. And it's good to see Honda really proving to the critics that this car is every inch the performance machine it was set out to be. Going around in the race car was just something incredible. It's just another planet in comparison to road-going cars. Something that's purebred, something that is designed for racing, doesn't have to meet the restrictions of the road, and it's just performance like you have never experienced. But for me, the highlight of this trip has to have been the Nurburgring. I mean, that's the pinnacle, right? That is one of the most challenging racetracks in the world. And we took a trio of standard Civic Type Rs, thrashed them all day long. You know, it was challenging for me, but the car seemed to take it all in its stride. You can definitely tell that it had a lot of development work done there. It felt right at home. I wrote recently in one of my articles that if this is the green hell, then the Type R is most certainly the devil, because it is right at home. Yeah, and I think what a bigger achievement is that the cars have been cars have been run consistently, hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of kilometres, then to a racetrack, hundreds and hundreds of kilometres, another racetrack, and here we are. There's not a squeak or rattle, nothing's loose, the car still feels as tight as a drum. You know, Honda's reliability is legendary. I think ultimately, whilst this trip has been a fantastic story to tell over this series of videos and the things we've done over social networking and on the website, I think the ultimate message we pull away from here is that Honda still build some very, very reliable cars that you can just, you know, use to your heart's content and not have to worry about squeaky bits of plastic or, you know, bits falling off or the engine getting worn out or the gearbox being shagged or anything like that. You know, over this trip these cars haven't been driven very economically, it has to be said. We've 3-car convoy. There have been times where you've had autobahns, we've had racetracks, we've had you know, going through towns and things like that. We've actually managed to average 26 mpg, and like I say, they haven't been driven gently at all. I mean, back home I've seen 30 out of this car, which for this calibre of performance car is pretty good.
As the hours rolled by and the kilometres clicked away, we were on the cusp of entering Germany. Crossing the border revealed that these cars needed feeding. So this is it, the last fuel stop, and we had some time to make up.
Okay, so we need to get a bit of a move on because the time for our flight is approaching. We're on a bit of de-restricted autobahn, and yeah, it's time to make haste, I think. This is the one thing with the autobahn, is you get traffic pulling out. You've got to think you're covering a lot of distance in a very short period of time. Most people do get out of the way. No traffic!
Scything through the traffic, we were cutting it fine. The net result of our journey, that totalled 967 kilometres to catch our plane, we made it, but not by much. Our dirty, fly-spattered car arrived at its drop-off in similar fashion to a Le Mans racer. Its filthy body told a story of dramatic adventure. Mosquitoes embedded from the autobahn, road filth in every nook collected on some epic Austrian roads, tiny specks of rubber collated from hitting the Nurburgring. I felt somewhat sad leaving my loyal steed in the car park. It had served me well, and I had grown particularly attached to this championship white hero. Whilst not on camera, as we had packed them away in preparation for our dash to our aeroplane, in some clear air this car clocked 270 kilometres per hour, or 167.7 miles per hour. Cross my heart, hope to die, etc, etc, that was a special moment. What a parting gift. And you want to know something else interesting? The car was still pulling and would have continued on had we not met slower traffic. I took one last glance at the machine that had delivered my 1,621 mile incredible journey across 4 countries in total. Whilst I was leaving it behind, the one thing I'd always have with me are the memories of this spectacular hot hatchback and the time we spent taking on Europe. Thanks very much for watching, and let us know what you think in the comments below. Please subscribe for more on the latest and greatest cars to hit the road. For all of the latest automotive news, written reviews and coverage from motor shows, go to www.insidelane.co.uk.